Robyn Brown's living room's uneven walls were covered in long shadows as the Arizona sun sank low over Flagstaff. Filming had concluded early, the boom mics had been packed up, and the producers had gone out for a meeting, so it was one of those days that should have ended quietly. Nobody knew, however, that one of the wireless microphones that was fastened to Cody's shirt had never been turned off. Amidst the commotion of camera cases being zipped and trucks being loaded, an unintentional confession was recorded, unvarnished, scathing, and never intended for public consumption. Cody raked both hands through his tangled hair while leaning heavily on the couch's arm. The fact that his button-down shirt was half untucked was a sign of the emotional weariness that had crept into his very being. Robyn observed him from the other side of the room, her arms crossed tightly. The same sharpness that the crew had learnt to avoid flared in her gaze. "You're accusing me once more," she stated bluntly. Cody exhaled a sour breath. "No, I'm holding everyone accountable." "You mean the show?" Robyn inquired. He whispered, "I mean everything. This family. This residence." Hey, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. This dynamic. "You and I subconsciously," he continued, "it's just ick." Robyn stopped. "What just did you say?" Cody didn't raise his head. "It's disgusting. The manner in which we function. The way you misrepresent things. I feel as though I'm being choked." With the word reverberating in her mind, Robyn took a step back as if she had been smacked. "Ick. Not let down. Don't worry. Something more profound. More intense." An instinctive response. She was unaware that a backup audio system was still in use. It was covertly installed on a bookcase across from her vanity. With her phone in hand, Robyn sat on the edge of the bed and vented to a veteran producer she had too much faith in. "He really referred to me as ick," she exclaimed, her voice breaking with anger. "Meri is drifting around like some tragic Victorian ghost, while Janelle is behaving like a pioneer woman with a martyr complex. Please." Silence fell for a beat. In an attempt to change her tone, the producer muttered something about the high level of anxiety lately. Robyn wasn't finished, though. She growled, "They're both jokes. Janelle seems as though she is self-sufficient, but she is unable to even get Cody to return her texts. Meri too? It's pitiful how desperate the woman is. She is essentially pleading for leftovers while feigning authority." Her laughter was dry. "They ought to give me credit. I continued to broadcast this family. Cody was grounded by me." A flash drive left in a mailbox later that week after a quiet argument. A former Sister Wives editor who had just left production received an enigmatic box at her door. No address for return. Simply a flash drive with the warning, "Clip 14, do not delete." He opened the files out of curiosity, or maybe instinct, and heard something that no one else should have heard. Within days, a leak of the audio reached a Reddit thread that erupted in activity after he posted it anonymously to a secret show crew site. There was no denying it. Cody's voice was heard. Robyn owned it. Like wildfire, the transcripts went viral. Seen, late night in Janelle's Flagstaff home. Janelle's phone was vibrating with messages as she sat at the kitchen counter. Logan, Garrison, and Gabe had already heard. The audio clip has been directly uploaded on Instagram with captions by someone. Her fingers were shaking as she clicked play. Janelle laughed when Robyn referred to her as a martyr with a complex. It was so anticipated, not because it was humorous. Cody still referring to Robyn as ick? She sat up for that. She had believed he was captivated by her for years. Devoted to her. Obsessed with her to the detriment of all other wives. However, nobody knew how deep the cracks were. It had nothing to do with love, Janelle muttered to herself. Control was the issue. Even she began to disgust him after he lost it. Christine called her, and her phone glowed. Her voice trembled as she replied. "Have you heard it?" Christine didn't have to explain her question. "Everything. And I'm done acting like it never happened. Everything. The gaslighting. The treachery. Now I can see it." Scene, Parowan, Utah's Meri's B&B. Meri gazed into a soft twilight as she sat beside her aunt's window. As usual, she was by herself. On the table next to her unfinished tea was a folded printed copy of the transcript. As she read Robyn's description of her as a tragic Victorian ghost, her heart tightened. In a desperate situation. Horrible. Even though Meri had heard worse from Cody in private, hearing it from Robyn, whom she had previously thought of as a sister or friend, made her feel something. Something definitive. Her laptop opened. For the first time, she made a vlog for herself, not for TLC or Instagram fans. Her voice was steady yet low as she replied, "I'm not a ghost. I'm not in a desperate situation. Furthermore, I will no longer sit in silence. Even if you made an effort to remove me from this family, you still have the final say." Scene: executive boardroom at TLC headquarters. Crisis buzzed across the network. Legal teams looked for possible culpability in the release tape. Soft damage control press releases were written by publicists. Producers behind the scenes, however, recognized the potential and decided to call it season gold because it wasn't a controversy. One producer remarked, "People want blood. They're looking for confessions. Confrontations. It doesn't even require scripting." The plot now revolves around the truth. Scene: the fallout at Robyn's house. Red-eyed and angry, Robyn paced back and forth. She screamed to Cody, "They're portraying me as a villain." He sat still and gazed at the ground. "Are you going to remain silent?" she inquired. "I'm at a loss for words," he answered. "Robyn, you said those things. You made fun of the woman who reared my kids. When you believed no one was paying attention, you trashed them. I was letting out my frustration. You said that you were the only important person. That placeholders were used for the others." He gave a head shake. "Robyn, I called you because I sensed it. I was afraid as I saw for the first time what they all saw in you." Robyn's eyes were filled with tears. "Are you going to leave me?" "I'm not going anywhere," he declared. "But my defense of you is over." With that, he left the room. Not permanently, but for the first time he didn't turn around. Northern Arizona was feeling the chill of autumn. Around the cul-de-sac, where many memories, both bitter and sacred, still hung like ghosts, a wind surged through the trees. Once a haven, Robyn's house now seemed like the epicenter of a seismic event. Inside, the furnishings had been moved to provide space for an off-camera sit-down that Janelle, not TLC, had planned for the camera. A clash. She had made a private contact with Meri. Not a producer. "Don't tell the lens anything. Just the facts." Midday at Robyn's living room, wearing leggings and a slate gray cardigan, Robyn stood rigidly close to the kitchen island, her arms folded like a wall separating her from the outside world. She had a pallid face. Her eyes were rimmed with red. It was a shock when the door was knocked on. Slowly, she opened it. Janelle, dressed in boots and a long green coat, entered first. Despite her composed demeanor, she exuded icy rage. Meri appeared behind her, wearing a maroon shawl, her mouth set, and her hair drawn back in a tight braid. "No hugs. Don't say hello. Nothing but quiet." Trying to find the grace to say it, Robyn finally said, "I'm surprised you came." Evenly, Janelle said, "You shouldn't be. We had to hear it. From you." After years of holiday platters, angry family dinners, and now a reckoning, they moved to the big wooden dining table. The table. Meri was the first to break the silence. She spoke in a low, tremulous, restrained voice. "I read your remarks on me. Heard it. And I would like to ask you directly, do you think I'm desperate?" Robyn turned her head aside and blinked. "Meri, you think I'm a ghost? Horrible?" With a sharper voice, Meri pressed. "Because I must hear you say it with the same assurance that you felt when you believed no one was hearing." Robyn stumbled. "I was letting my emotions out. It had nothing to do with you." "Yeah, it was," Janelle said icily. "You played victim in public while tearing us apart in private. You turned your tears into a weapon. After elevating yourself to the center of Cody's universe, you mocked the women who contributed to its creation." With her hands gripping the back of her chair, Robyn rose up. "You don't think I've suffered? You believe it has been simple to be the family scapegoat?" Janelle spoke in an icy tone. "Robyn, you're not the scapegoat. The architect is you." Robyn flinched like she had been smacked. Janelle went on, "You tricked Cody into excluding us. When you didn't receive what you wanted, you cried. Off camera, you said things you didn't think anyone would hear. Now, however, we heard them. They were also strategic, not just cruel." Flashback, added to the memory, they hear bits of audio play back in their heads, such as Robyn calling Meri pathetic, making fun of Janelle's independence, and joking that she was the only wife that mattered. Robyn's lip trembled back at the table. I spoke out of rage, in exasperation. But I didn't aim to cause you any harm. Meri's voice cracked as she shook her head. I was harmed by you. Not only did you pretend to be my sister, but you also allowed me to fester in quiet. Janelle's tone became more somber and subdued. Both of us sacrificed our life for this family. I reared your children just as I would have. Long after Cody's love was gone, I continued to fight for it. Now I realize that I never lost to you. Cody's mental image of you was winning out over me. At last, Robyn sagged down in her seat. The armor cracked for the first time. She muttered, I didn't know how to share him. Meri's eyebrow went up. So why did you marry into a family with multiple members? There was a complete silence in the room. I believed I could pull it off, Robyn muttered. However, I was afraid. I felt compelled to defend him. That if I didn't, I would become like us. Meri lost her temper. Tears clouded Robyn's eyes. This is not how I intended it to happen. But it did, responded Janelle plainly. Outside, later clarity, not forgiveness, marked the conclusion of the encounter. Meri and Janelle took deep breaths as they went outside into the cool air. Something inside each of them felt liberated for the first time in years. He's no longer hers, Janelle declared. Meri gave a nod. No one ever truly owned him. They left without turning around. Robyn was inside, sitting by herself at the table and crying. She was suddenly surrounded by a deafening silence rather than a serene one. That evening in Cody's temporary apartment, Cody leaned back against a pile of unopened packing boxes while seated on the floor. He listened to the leak once more, hearing both her and his voices disparaging the wives and calling Robyn ick. He didn't cry. He was not angry. The wives had not abandoned him, he realized as he sat in the ruins of his own construction. He was the one who had emptied out the family. And now, everything that had been kept concealed for too long was beginning to weigh upon Robyn as well. And there's more. Like Meri and Christine Brown, sister wives Janelle Brown has reached a new stage of life. But it isn't characterized by marriage or a business-driven personal brand like the other two. She is instead aiming for a modest and understated lifestyle that emphasizes spending time with her children and having close friendships. All three ladies have been active on social media since splitting from family patriarch Cody Brown, each blazing their own trail. With David Woolley and her blended family, Christine is doing well. With her amazing short textured bob cut and retreats under her Lizzie's heritage and brand, Meri largely relies on her lone-vibed personal brand. Janelle, on the other hand, has moved her focus almost exclusively to true female company and simple joys. Janelle's metamorphosis is noteworthy because she is embracing her authenticity rather than trying to alter herself. It's not that the other two are doing it for the wrong reasons, but she isn't leveraging her love life updates to create hype or styling every moment for influencer appeal. The key takeaway here is that she is creating new connections and creating space for non-performative connections, which is ideal because fans are aware that Janelle, in contrast to the previous spouses, generally appreciated being in a polygamous relationship. On June 10, 2025, Janelle posted a selfie of herself in her car with her new pals Christina and Angela. They were all grinning and sporting bright green visors that read, "Wasted Sacrifice." Although it appears humorous and lighthearted at first, it is actually a scathing visual metaphor. Janelle sacrificed more than 20 years for a multiple marriage that necessitated ongoing emotional concessions. That story is reversed by the visor slogan. Her caption reads, "Tonight I'm grateful for friends old and new." That appreciation is pointed. It states out what the show always suggested. She gave up a lot, but now she gets to joke about it, and more importantly, she's gone on. Janelle was the least sentimental and most independent of the wives on Sister Wives. She rarely got involved in controversy, kept her head down, and gave work and children top priority. A different version is depicted in this picture. Someone who is relaxed, surrounded by friends rather than co-wives, and who choose to travel, laugh, and let go. Janelle posted a picture of herself and her pals having a good time back in April 2025, along with a caption that supports this similar change. "I didn't really have friends outside of my work friends and family when I was in the thick of raising kids and working full-time," she wrote. That statement alone sums up what watchers have understood for years. Janelle was only surviving and going with the flow rather than seeking attention, connection, or drama. Her life was organized around having kids, making money, and fitting into a pluralistic dynamic that left little room for personal emotional development. However, the tone has suddenly shifted. She writes about heading to Santa Fe for a girls' weekend, meeting her squad, and playing goofy games on a friend's birthday night out. Unlike group dynamics on the program, there is no veiled insults or a subtext of antagonism. These include milestones as well as personal updates. Janelle, who previously claimed she didn't require emotional support from other wives, is now letting herself benefit from and accept assistance from women who provide without expecting anything in return. The fact that Janelle never publicly showed her distaste for the polygamous way of life is one of the more enduring facts about her time on Sister Wives. Indeed, she frequently defended it. She regularly stressed her independence, and even said in interviews that she didn't require or desire a husband's continual emotional intimacy. Because of this, she was more compatible with Cody than the others. Meri yearned for approval and Christine craved love, but Janelle frequently expressed that she appreciated the freedom and independence the arrangement provided. This change is so telling because of that. Janelle did not depart in a rage. When the building ceased its original function, she departed. She is now reproducing the positive aspects of the lifestyle, including the friendship, support, and laughter, but without the logistical and spiritual burdens. Without the conflict, these new connections operate similarly to Sister Wives. They arrive, they go, and they chuckle. And for Janelle, that may be the most therapeutic type of mutually beneficial, chosen, and emotionally secure plural companionship she has experienced in years. Viewers witnessed unprecedented tension among the Brown family in this season of Sister Wives. Unexpected difficulties arose in Season 19 of the reality TV program, including the court-mandated settlement of a land dispute known as Coyote Pass. The loss of family member Garrison, who was only in his mid-20s when he passed away, was another tragic event that consumed a large portion of the season. Although the family came together to bury Garrison at a plot in Wyoming, it was the first time many of them had been together since they parted ways with the family's patriarch, Cody. Cody and his last surviving wife, Robyn, discussed whether they would ever pursue plural marriage in the season's special one-on-one episodes. Cody discussed his relationship history and whether he would ever consider marrying other people in his special one-on-one episode with interviewer Suki Krishnan. Although Cody is only legally married to Robyn, the youngest of his 4 wives, as longtime viewers of the show will remember, Christine was the first of Cody's wives to formally declare her separation from him in late 2021. Soon after she started things, his partners Meri and Janelle quickly followed suit. In their own one-on-one interviews, both women discussed the problems in their relationships with Cody. Christine, for example, talked about the lack of physical and emotional intimacy in the latter years of her marriage, while Janelle mentioned that Cody would attempt to attack the women when he realized they wanted to break up with him. When Cody's one-on-one episode came around, it seemed that he was ready to correct the record from his perspective. At one point in the episode, Suki brought up the fact that Cody was officially in a monogamous relationship with Robyn, since his ex-girlfriends Christine, Meri, and Janelle had all decided to break up with him. Some viewers noted how easily defensive he became during the questions, and some even believed he appeared angry throughout the interview. She then asked if Cody could envision himself returning to polygamy in the future, similar to what his upbringing's religion holds. Cody didn't mince words when he responded, and it was obvious that he had considered the situation beforehand. Cody was actually quite direct when he expressed his wish to avoid the kind of polygamy he had engaged in the past. Cody continued to explain why multiple marriage no longer appealed to him, but his comments were a little crude. "I'm not interested in plural marriage anymore. I don't want to pursue another woman because I don't want the headache. I'm not in that space," he stated. Cody did, however, emphasize that his children were the one positive outcome of multiple marriages, stating that he was glad for the experience that had given him all those children. Although she addressed it from a different perspective, Robyn also stated that she didn't think she would return to plural marriage. In other words, she clarified that she had always thought she would live out her life with multiple marriages, and she felt that the way things had gone with Cody was taking the life she had envisioned away from her. Despite this, Robyn reaffirmed her decision to always choose her husband, indicating that she felt comfortable in their current relationship. Robyn and Cody are undoubtedly not the only members of the family to find themselves abandoning plural marriage. Christine, one of his ex-girlfriends, has since remarried and says she had always meant to be monogamous. She revealed that she and her new partner, David Woolley, are very happy in a two-person relationship. After their divorce in 2023, TLC's Sister Wives stars Cody Brown and Meri Brown saw an unexpected change in their relationship. Their divorce wasn't even their first. Although they were legally divorced in 2014 to give Cody permission to wed Robyn Brown, they continued to be spiritually wed until 2022, when Meri requested a religious release, following 32 years of marriage. They experienced surprising moments of warmth after the divorce, most notably when Cody sobbed while assisting Meri in moving to Utah. Meri was perplexed by this emotional encounter that took place in a November 2024 episode. Despite their history of separation and Meri's 2015 catfishing incident, Cody and Meri's renewed politeness is more a reflection of respect for one another than romance. Meri's support of Cody over the years and his anguish following the Sister Wives Season 19 move point to a complicated relationship. Despite living apart, their common past and sporadic encounters reveal a post-divorce relationship that is more cordial than anticipated despite their distance. In a December 2024 interview, Meri mentioned that conversations with Cody are fine when needed, but not cordial, implying a practical intimacy. Continue reading to find out more about their complex connection and current status. Meri, the first of Cody's 4 wives in their polygamous family, began a spiritual union with him when they were married in April 1990. Cody, 22, and Meri, then just 19, had a close relationship that was based on their common religion in the Apostolic United Brethren Church. In 1995, they welcomed a daughter, Mariah Brown, now Leon Brown, but Meri's infertility caused tension in their marriage. Later, Cody wed Robyn Brown in 2010, Christine Brown in 1994, and Janelle Brown in 1993. Although Meri and Cody remained spiritually married, Meri legally divorced him in 2014 so that he could adopt Robyn's children. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks everyone.